Dr. Brain Sedze, Director of the Free Enterprise Initiative in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me, Peter.
Dr. Sedze, it looks as if Zimbabwe's economy is spiraling out of control. Prices are rising. What seems to be driving this inflation?
Peter, economics don't lie. The real issue is that the government, through the RBZ or Treasury, has caused the printing of money. So there is excess money chasing very few US dollars. So our inflation is driven basically by the exchange rate, because the government, in its wisdom or lack thereof, is also forcing people to not to charge prices that are beyond the official exchange rate, which we all know, Peter, that is a fallacy, it's a lie, it is not even possible. That auction rate is just a creation to support certain chronic capitalists, not each and everyone. I'm sure you have read the Delta statement, which says they can't compete against their major competitor here in Zimbabwe, simply because their competitor is getting exchange rate at 1070, and they are getting their foreign currency at 2,800, which is basically saying that printing is to support certain industries, certain colonies, certain payments. So as a country, we are subsidizing certain people. So the center will never hold.
Have people lost faith in the currency? I know that some businesses already are not taking any other tender other than US dollars.
Zimbabwe lost faith and trust in their currency as far back as 2002. Not exactly something new, but now, Peter, you can imagine that within a month, the currency has lost 100% of its value. The only reason why I believe they're maintaining that currency is to support payment of civil servants, which is unfair. I'll just tell you, Peter, that civil servants were paid 100% adjustment in salary. It was lost a week after they had paid it because it lost value. So no one wants to use the currency because the people cannot be trusted with managing a currency.
They have tried certain interventions. I think about a year ago, they came out with a gold coin, and then now they've introduced the digital currency. Have these interventions, let's start with the gold coins, did that fail? Because we are where we are now. And what are your thoughts on this digital currency?
Peter, if you can't explain to your grandmother in Chiendambuya, in Otito, in Matabeleland South, that their money is a digital currency, it is not a currency. It's just a method to support, because a currency must be based on symmetrical information. Everyone must know what it is. But now, my grandmother in Chiendambuya would not be able to know what a digital currency is. So it's a currency for who? Because a currency is for everyone. All right? So that digital currency will just fail, but only used by the elite, not by the common person. I can tell you, if you walk into the street and ask anyone in Harare to say, do you know what a digital currency is? How does it work? Nobody knows. So how is it a currency when it cannot fit the description of a currency, which is transaction, preservation of value? And secondly, people don't trust digital currency because you are saying digital. We do not have access to information. We don't have access to the internet all over Zimbabwe. It's just for a few because it is expensive. So how is it going to work? It won't. It can't.
But the Reserve Bank will tell you that this currency is backed by gold, and so it should give people assurance.
Peter, who do you think is going to audit if the gold actually existed? We all know what has been happening with the gold. We started collecting gold as a tax in its hard form 6 or so months ago. And they say we've got 3.7 tons of gold. Do we know we have it at the Reserve Bank? This is where the trust issues start. At one point, we were told it's 1:1. It never happened. We lost money. In 2017, 2018, 2019, we lost millions of dollars on a 1:1. It's not only if you had someone who owed you money, it was 1:1. Within a few months, within a few days, if you approach a court, the court told you that that person is supposed to pay you your money in Zim Dollar.
So how do we explain what's going on then? Zimbabwe is part of a community of states in the region, and yet it seems to be experiencing this free fall all by itself. All the other countries, yes, their currencies are being challenged, but not at the rate as Zimbabwe is. We hear that sanctions perhaps are a contributing factor. What are your thoughts about what's gone wrong?
Just this morning, there was some sort of a rally where they were talking about these sanctions. Yes, they may exist, but fact of the matter is that we have dismally failed to manage our currency because we are trying to do what we would call here now in Zimbabwe care economics or cut and fat economics. All right? We do not have people who can manage our currency, and that's short and long of it.
But you have a Reserve Bank governor, a Minister of Finance who is Cambridge and Oxford educated. How can it be that you don't have people that can't manage the currency?
There's a difference, Peter, between people within a system and the people using their knowledge to manage things. Our issue is that we have got a system challenge, which makes people fail to perform roles and responsibilities. Long and short of it.
How are people coping? What are they doing? I mean, I remember 2008, you started to see parents paying school fees with fuel and things like that. I mean, is bartering something that we'll see soon, or it's just a question of using the US dollar and nothing else?
No, there is what we call a very huge disintermediation. People are now avoiding formal systems like distributors, retailers. So if you've got your chicken, you sell it direct to the end user. If you've got your fertilizer, the same thing. If you've got your anything that you've got. So there is a lot of disintermediation now. For people to survive, they're now selling because they want to avoid having to be paid in Zimbabwe.
What about the authorities then? If everything continues to be informalized, where do they get their revenue from?
The revenue is actually falling because remember, if someone has got a tax bill of 1 million as an example, he incurred it at a rate of 935. Now that tax, he has got to pay it. He should ideally pay it 2,300, but he's still paying it 1,100. So they're losing tax revenue. So what it means to cover that loss of tax revenue, they would have to print money to ensure that that gap is covered. When they print money, it becomes a spiral again because they would need a new budget. Like now, we expect them to have a supplementary budget, which will be, in last week's estimate, 130% more than the original budget.
What it sounds like is that the country's going to run out of cash. If people are saying, you can print as much money as you want, we don't want that money that you printed, we want US dollars. And those will be in short supply.
That is very correct, Peter. No one wants to part away with these US dollars or Zimbabwe dollars.
So what are we going to see hyperinflation in Zimbabwe at thousands levels?
My estimate is by the time we get to August, my estimate is that our inflation, our exchange rate will be around 500%. Because inflation is self-feeding, we expecting inflation to go up from, according to Hanke, 439%. Our own estimate is 89%. Irrespective of the difference between those two, I think our inflation will be closer to 1,000% by the time we get to August.
All right, so not a great picture to look ahead for citizens. Dr. Brain Sedze, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much indeed for giving us some insights into what's happening in Zimbabwe's economy, particularly relating to its currency. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Peter. It was great to talk to you once again.